Hello, and welcome to Bio 220, Botany and Society, with both lecture and laboratory. I am Dr. Montgomery, and I will be your instructor for both the lecture and laboratory portions of this course. In this lecture, I'm going to go over briefly the syllabus and go over some lab activities that will be due coming up very soon. For most lecture material, this is the view you'll see, with the narrated slides occupying most of the screen and my image just down in the corner. Our primary purpose is to go over the lecture syllabus. I'll show you how to access it on Blackboard. I'll talk about communication with me, and we'll talk about some different ways you can reach me, including texting, phone, and email. I will mention the book, which is required, and you need to make sure you get it very quickly. We'll go over Blackboard, which is USC Upstate's course management system. We'll talk a little bit about the content of the course, as well as academic conduct, activities and assessments, how the laboratory works, how you can seek accommodations if necessary, and the course schedule. As I already said, I am Dr. Montgomery. My background is in ecology and additionally botany. And you can see here I am out with some plants in the background. My office phone is listed on the syllabus. It is 864-503-5764. I can also be reached by cell phone because you may be doing work in the evening when I'm not in my office. My cell phone number is 864-381-7587. Feel free to either call that number or to text. If you're going to give me a call, I would suggest texting first, letting me know your first name and that you're a student in the botany course. That way I'll know that the call is real and be more likely to answer. My office is going to be in the Smith building on the USC Upstate campus, room 215. Since this is an online course, you should probably let me know if you plan to seek me there. My email is listed on the syllabus and also here. It is simply bmontgomery@uscupstate.edu, and I will have office hours on weekdays between 11 a.m. and noon, but we can arrange appointments at other times if you want to come in and see me or if you want to arrange a phone appointment. The book is called Plants and People, and this is what the cover looks like. There's only one edition, so that makes life easy. It was written in 2013, published by Jones and Bartlett. There's an optional companion website with practice questions, and you'll have other opportunities to get study questions, so you can choose to do that or not. That's entirely up to you. The course management system is Blackboard, as it is for all courses at USC Upstate. To access Blackboard, go to the USC Upstate webpage and then look at the quick links in the very top left of the page. When you click there, you should see a drop-down menu that looks like this, and near the top of it, you'll see Blackboard. Click on Blackboard. When you do, then you should reach a page that has courses listed, probably along the right-hand side. And two of those courses should be Bio U220 and Bio U220L, both for summer 2018. The first tab is going to take you to the lecture page for the course. The second tab is going to take you to the laboratory page for the course. And both lecture and laboratory are required, so you should be checking both of these tabs very regularly throughout the course. This course is technology intensive because I am communicating with you and you with me over computers. And so if you run into problems, then information technology or IT is a good place to go. And you can find that again in the quick links. And then there's a listing. And they can answer many questions about, for example, accessing Microsoft Word or your email not working or trouble accessing Blackboard. When you access the Bio 220 lecture page, it should look something like this. you'll see a picture of some flowers and plant parts across the top of the screen. You should see probably announcements with a list of any recent announcements here. And then on the left-hand side of the page, there should be this menu with a black background, including announcements, syllabus, schedule, and some other folders. If you don't see this menu, then you need to figure out how to get it to appear. I'm going to switch views and then see if I can show you that. Here we are. Hopefully when you click on this page, you'll see that menu already on the left-hand side. If you don't, then simply bring your mouse over along the left-hand margin of the page, sort of next to the scroll bar, and mouse over it. Once you mouse over, then hopefully this arrow will arrive that says Show Course Menu if you mouse over the arrow. And click that arrow, and now the menu appears. If you're looking at something and you want to see it with an expanded screen, then again mouse over the margin between this menu and the neighboring pane, wait for the left arrow to appear, click it, and you can hide that left-hand menu again. Like so. The important folders for us will be announcements, the syllabus, which includes course policies, the schedule, which tells you the content as well as what's due, and the daily folders where you will find most of the course material. Let's jump in now and talk about the content and assessment for the course. So the course is going to be based on textbook readings as well as narrated lectures. And because of the abbreviated summer schedule compared to a 14-week normal semester, there will be typically 2 30 to 45-minute narrated lectures per weekday during the course. This will allow, as I just said, that 14-week semester to be condensed down into 4 weeks. You will also have daily Blackboard quizzes, which in total will amount to about 20% of your lecture score. And because we have 2 lectures per day, you will have 2 of these Blackboard quizzes on most days. You will have exams, and specifically there will be 3 midterm exams as well as 1 final exam, and together those will be 58% of your lecture score. On exam days, you will have probably 1 additional lecture as well as the exam itself to keep us on schedule. And for many of the lecture activities, there will be some small supplemental activity that you'll do, and those small supplemental activities will together account for about 22% of your lecture score. The final exam for the course will cover the entirety of the semester, meaning it is cumulative. And this is to make sure that you retain the information from throughout the semester instead of just cramming it before an exam and then forgetting it. Because the course is online, the exams will be open notes and open book, because there's no reasonable way for me to police that. This course includes a mandatory laboratory, which will account for 25% of your course grade. So you must be enrolled in both lecture and the lab. The lab activities will mostly relate directly to the lecture topics that we are covering or have recently done so. And again, to keep us on a 14-week course condensed down to 4 weeks, there will be about 3 to 4 lecture activities per week. The activities start immediately with some sort of easy transition activities due on Tuesday. You need supplies for this course, and I will be arranging those supplies for you. So you need to make sure that you communicate to me how you can pick those up. You should have already received an email with a link to a poll that indicates the time you can come to campus to get those supplies. If you don't live within Spartanburg County or a county that borders Spartanburg, then you can ask for those supplies to be shipped. Hopefully you have done so already. If you have not, you need to send me an email immediately telling me your address to which you want those supplies shipped, and I will get them in the mail as soon as possible. Again, if you live within either Spartanburg or a neighboring county, then you do need to come to campus. And for laboratory, just like for lecture, please make sure to check the Blackboard page regularly for announcements as well as any material I have posted. When there's a change, then I will post it as an announcement to Blackboard. So how do we cover 14 weeks of material in 4 weeks? Well, let's think about this separately for lecture and laboratory. In lecture, for 1 week of a normal semester, there would be 3 50-minute lectures, and plus you would spend time outside of lecture reading, studying, and completing assignments. That means you'd be spending about 6 hours per week over 14 weeks, meaning that over the course of a semester, you'd be spending about 84 hours on the course. Now, if we take those 84 hours and divide it into the 4 weeks we have for this summer course, that's going to work out to about 21 hours per week for the lecture material. Let's now go through the math for lab. In lab, a 1 week in the normal semester would have about a 2.8 hour lab. They're 2 hours and 50 minutes long. And for a lab of that length, you might expect to spend about an hour and a half or a little bit more on outside assignments, let's say prepping for lab, studying lab material, and completing lab-related assignments. And so if we take those hours, we multiply by 14, that's going to give about 62 hours. Again, if we divide that over our 4 summer weeks, then you should expect to spend about 15.5 hours per week on lab. And if we add up the lecture and laboratory times, you should expect to spend about 36.5 hours each week on this course. And so that's a full-time job, if a full-time job is 35 to 40 hours. This means that if you are working outside of this course, you need to make sure that you have minimized those hours to give as much time as possible. Hopefully you are not taking any additional courses. If you are, you need to seriously evaluate how you are going to accomplish both of them simultaneously. Next, I would like to give some advice on how to succeed in this course. The most important thing is to keep up with the assigned schedule and plan ahead for 2 dates. So if there's a laboratory activity due on Friday and you're not going to have time on Wednesday or Thursday, make sure you do it earlier, let's say on Monday or Tuesday. And remember that some laboratory activities will require you to go outside, and so you'll need some daylight hours to do those activities. Make sure you have the book. Order it immediately or get it from the USC Upstate bookstore, where they should have it in stock. The readings will start with today's material. Check email daily because whenever I post an announcement to Blackboard, it will be emailed. That's an easy way then to make sure you do not miss announcements. The laboratory activities will take some planning ahead. There are a few activities where you will need to go get supplies from a supermarket or pharmacy, and there are some activities where you will be required to go out and look for plants in nature. And so make sure you keep up with that schedule. And finally, unlike some instructors, I strongly encourage you to bug me with questions. I am being paid to answer your questions, and usually if you have a question, that's because I was unclear about what was due or some aspect of an assignment. So please let me know. I'll know what you're confused about. I'll be able to clarify it for both you and for your classmates. I will end this lecture by briefly going over the literal syllabus. Remember, you'll find that with this syllabus tab on the left-hand side of the Blackboard page. And the syllabus starts with my contact information, my office and cell phone, my office number, which is now 215, not 315, my email and office hours. There are reminders about being able to text, call, or email. Any questions about grades have to go through email because by phone I won't be able to verify identity, and by texting I won't be able to either. But if you have questions about assignments, those are good for phone or texting. The book information is here and information about Blackboard. Then there's a section on outcomes, and so this covers what is the content of the course. So for example, we'll talk about how plants allow for societal needs, such as food and resource production, nutrient cycling, and development of pharmaceuticals. Several other topics that we will cover are listed here. There is a statement of academic conduct. This is important. There are things that apply to both online and normal courses, such as cheating on quizzes or tests. That would be a violation. Plagiarizing is a violation. This is defined by USC Upstate as using others' words or ideas without consistent, correctly formatted acknowledgement. And digitally manipulating images to make them look like they're your own if they were actually taken by somebody else will be considered a form of plagiarism and hence a form of academic misconduct. And there's a statement for how academic misconduct is resolved using the USC Upstate Academic Conduct Policy linked to the syllabus. The course format is described. We've gone over that material previously in the lecture. The textbook readings were already referred to. Remember that you need to both watch the lectures and complete the readings. One does not substitute for the other. I mentioned that there will be 2 quizzes on Blackboard for each day, or at least for most days. You will find those by coming up to the daily folders link, and then within daily folders, you will find a folder for each day. And so you can see here, these haven't been updated for the semester yet, but for day 1, you would find 2 consecutive folders. For day 2, you would as well. And the quizzes will be in those daily folders. Exams will also be in those daily folders. And as I already mentioned, there are 3 midterms worth 12% and a final worth 22%. There's other activities, and those will be linked in the daily folders, and there will be about 1 to 2 per day. The laboratory we talked about, late assignment policy is listed here, and the statement of accommodations is down at the bottom of the syllabus. And what this statement says is that USC Upstate supports ongoing development of an accessible university that embraces diversity through educational programming services, resources, and facilities that are usable by all members of the campus community. What you need to know is that if you need an academic accommodation due to a disability, then you need to contact Disability Services. The number is listed, and schedule an appointment. Once you've met with them, they will contact me, and we will figure out appropriate accommodations from there. There will be a quiz on the on the lecture syllabus itself, and that will be one of the activities that is due immediately. We will end by going over lab reminders for things due Tuesday. These are fairly easy assignments that are just to make sure that you are familiar with some technology. First, you need to email me as your instructor from your USC Upstate email account, and you need to include a short note. The details of that are on the laboratory page. Second, if you have not already filled out the poll that was sent by email and on Blackboard to indicate how you will pick up supplies, make sure you do so immediately. Be reminded that if you live within Spartanburg or a neighboring county, so for example, Union, Cherokee, and Greenville, then you need to come to campus to pick up supplies. If you live outside of those counties, I can mail you supplies, but you need to make sure I have the appropriate shipping address. The 3 real assignments are first to find an online photo of a plant that you like to eat, drink, or use ethnobotanically, and make sure that this is a plant that you can legally use in South Carolina. Whatever it is, find that photo on the internet, take a screenshot of it, and then you need to submit the screenshot to the Favorite Plants Lab Journal. This is just for me to make sure that you know how to take a screenshot using your computer, and that you know how to submit photos on the Blackboard journal page. Next, you need to take a picture of a flower. You can choose what kind of flower, and there are instructions on the Blackboard page of how to take a high-quality flower that will allow us to identify it. There's an example of a picture I took over here. And the final assignment that I'll remind you about now is to take a photograph of a leaf. And when you do that, you also need to follow the specific instructions to get a high-quality image that is useful for identification. And up here is an example of an image I recently took. With that, I will end our first lecture. You have additional lectures to watch for today that will start covering some of the content of the course, talking about why plants are important and also some of the diversity of plants. Please let me know if you have any questions about today's material or anything as we go through the remainder of the course. I am looking forward to working with you, and I am here to help.